What's up, everybody?
Welcome back to Mile Higher Podcast, episode 97. And today we are doing a Mile Higher audience-involved Q&A.
Yes.
We did one of these over the summer, and you guys really enjoyed it and had some awesome questions. So we wanted to do it again here at the end of the year as we reflect on this last year.
We're rolling into the holidays.
Yeah.
It's a busy time. So.
Oh, yeah.
And our case last week was pretty...
intense and long.
Yes, it was. So we're going to take a slightly chiller approach this week.
Mm-hmm.
But we do also have some really interesting news stories to share with you as always. But of course, we want to thank our sponsors for today, Postmates Candid and Embark. Thank you guys so much. Also, check out the new merch. I'm rocking the white hoodie right now.
Yes. This is the Mountain Crest hoodie.
Really comfortable, I must say. Like it's really warm.
Yeah.
It's fitting really good.
It's definitely been the favorite on the website.
Yes.
People love it.
Yeah, go check out the new merch, milehigher.com. If you use code milehigher, you get 10% off till the end of the year.
Yes.
So take advantage of that. But let's go ahead and jump right into this week's news stories. The first story was one that Kendall actually told me about. And when I started reading about this, I was like, holy shit, this is kind of crazy.
Well, I actually found it because someone sent it to me. And at that point, it was still an Amber Alert. And it was this really scary video.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and play the clip here. It's kind of hard to see the video, but you can definitely tell what happened. Someone gets out of a car and grabs...
Two people grab this.
Yeah, this girl from her mom. She's like walking with her mom down the street, and this is in the Bronx. And two people get out of the car, and it looks like they force her into her car. And at first I thought maybe this is something like human trafficking or some type of abduction, some weird thing like that. So I retweeted it, and then someone messaged me and was like, hey, actually they just found out that this was a hoax. And so I unretweeted it because I didn't want to continue to spread a fake thing. But yeah, crazy. It wasn't actually a kidnapping.
No, the girl set it up.
Herself.
So she goes missing, right? She's kidnapped at 11:20 p.m. And then, she's shoved into the car. They actually shoved the mother to the ground, actually, which is really scary. And then sped off in the car with her.
Mm-hmm. And the mother was not part of the hoax like she would, so she was totally thought it was real.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how scared you'd be?
Yeah. And then literally a few hours later, she walks into the police station, I believe, or approaches some police officers and turns herself in and says she's the missing teen that the NYPD was looking for.
Wow. I wonder what made her decide to turn herself in. Maybe she was trying to run away originally.
Well, so multiple things have come out because, of course, they've started questioning her and trying to figure out, what's the motive for faking your own kidnapping.
She was having a difficult relationship with her mother, though, apparently. Who knows to what extent? There's not full details about what exactly. Maybe her mom's really abusive. Maybe she just feels restricted or something.
Overprotective. Or something. Yeah.
But her mom wanted to move back to Honduras. And she doesn't want to do that. So that was also part of it. So I think she was trying to run away.
Yeah. But I don't think she really obviously realized the full extent of what this would cause.
There'd be an Amber Alert and people looking for her. And
especially if two guys are grabbing a young girl off the street,
that looks scary.
Putting in her car and speeding off in New York City. People are going to report that.
Right.
And that's a difficult one to pull off, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And why that, though? Why go to such extreme to fake your own kidnapping versus just running away? Why wouldn't you just run away instead?
Yeah, I don't know. Why wouldn't she just run away?
Why such the dramatic exit?
It seems like maybe she really has a horrible relationship with her mother if she's
willing to do anything.
Her mom to think that she would be taken. Why would you want your parent to think that?
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't think we know the full extent of what's going on there, because clearly it had to have been bad enough to cause her to do something like this. Because I when I was a teen, I went through some stuff with my parents too, and never once did I think I'm gonna fake my own kidnapping to get myself out of this situation. No matter how bad. It feels like
there's got to be more to this story.
Yeah, and the whole moving back to their native country or whatever, and could be part of it for sure. I feel like, but I also think there's more that we just don't know yet about that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more to the story.
But it's teens are just going to the extreme these days, I feel like, in all sorts of aspects. Why? I don't know. Just seems like way too far to take things.
But obviously, it's people can't be faking this type of stuff because it is putting out a lot of resources and tons of people end up looking for, especially with a video like this. It was going pretty viral on Twitter. I mean, it was really scary, even though it's such bad quality. It's really freaky looking.
And the news had already hopped on it and
Yeah.
everything. I mean, it was getting national attention
Right.
almost. So
is she going to have consequences for faking it?
I believe so. They haven't officially said if they're going to charge her with anything yet, but
They're probably looking more into her
Sure,
situation.
yeah, I'm sure they're looking into it more and will determine.
See if she's like being really abused or something. Or
Yeah.
it's more of just a.
Because, like I said, something really, something major has to be going on. I feel like
agree.
beyond what has just been reported for somebody to go
to do
that
that.
far. And who are these two men? Are they going to get in trouble?
Yeah.
Are they
How
going
did
to be
she get them
charged?
to agree to that? Did she agree to like pay them or something? Or I'm curious. There's probably a lot more to this story.
Yeah, they're still investigating it because this literally just happened.
I'm sure there'll be more to come out.
For sure. But the next story I got comes right out of Colorado, actually, the Aurora Police Department. This has been very controversial and has started to make its way around the country as well. So back in March, an Aurora police officer, Nate Meyer, was found presumably drunk and unresponsive behind the wheel of his police vehicle. So he was
Really
in uniform, had all of his gear on him. He was in an unmarked police car, but it is a police car, and he was just found in the middle of the street in his car, completely unresponsive, passed out, just super, super drunk, to the point where they couldn't even get him to respond. They had to bust the window in order to unlock the doors to get him
Pick him
out.
up out of there.
And the reason why this is a big deal is not only obviously he's on duty, he's on the job. He should be fired. There should be some sort of reprimand for this. And
Yeah, you would think so.
the police chief is just saying that, he understands what he did and he's going to be on suspension without pay. But a lot of people are upset because they feel like he should lose his job over this. That as a police officer and with having a firearm, like he could have killed somebody in this car.
Yeah,
Somebody could have died.
absolutely.
I mean, he's a drunk driver. He should be charged with the DUI.
Yeah.
He was never given a test at all, an alcohol test. He was not treated he wasn't treated like a typical DUI suspect. He was treated with special treatment. And they did no normal tests. They basically took him to the hospital, and after he woke up and stuff, they were like, all right, well, you're on suspension without pay, and that's it. And closed case.
That just seems so absurd to me with how seriously we take drunk driving in this country and like how harsh the punishments are for drunk driving. That's like one of the most expensive charges. And especially if you get more than one, it just ends up being.
Yeah, and celebrities
it could be
get hit with them
hundreds
all
of
the
thousands
time.
of
And
dollars that
actually
you end up
everybody.
spending. Yeah. And it's like to just like let him off with that. Shouldn't he be charged? He's not getting like a drunk driving charge or like, that's some bullshit.
He still has his job.
He has his job. He's going to come back and be a cop again.
That's completely
and give
ridiculous.
other people DUIs.
Yeah.
That's scary, honestly,
Yeah.
to think that. And you wonder like how many other professionals drink on the job. Like I've been recently hearing a lot about pilots drinking and flying planes. And that's a whole nother thing. Like maybe we should talk about that on the podcast sometime. That's been happening more lately. They've been finding pilots under the influence. So you wonder like in jobs like police officers and firefighters or, doctors even.
Yeah.
People that you tend to just trust because you're like, God, I would hope you wouldn't be drunk at your job. But there's some people that are. And like, especially if you have a serious drinking problem, you're struggling with a drinking problem.
Yeah.
This looks like it was like during the day.
He went home for lunch and drank a bunch of vodka.
My gosh. I mean, you must have a major
And if I
to do
remember,
that.
his alcohol limit was like 4 or 5 times over the legal limit. Like he was
They said that as soon as
super
they
drunk.
broke the window, it reeked immediately.
Yeah,
of
you could
alcohol.
smell it on him.
Just immediately, the whole car, because he had like a bottle in there, right?
Yeah, I believe they found stuff in there as well.
I can't believe he still has his job. Are they at least at a bare minimum making him go to some type of rehab or like course?
He's literally
or
just
anything?
getting unpaid
That's
suspension.
just ridiculous and unacceptable, honestly. We should expect so much more from our police officers, people who are there to protect and serve us and are driving huge cruisers. This looks like a big car he has. Does he have like one of the...
No, it's just it looks big from the picture, but it's just a
Still,
normal
whatever.
car.
A
But
vehicle is basically a weapon, and anyone who drives under the influence...
He was in the middle of the street, passed out with the car running.
Yeah, that's just like, how can you police other people for the same thing when, I mean, it's just, how can we have standards like this?
Right.
And it teaches others that, oh, okay, if I get caught drinking, the very least I'll get like a few months off and a slap on the wrist.
Yeah. Well,
Like, it's ridiculous.
It's bringing to light this whole brotherhood that is
Yes.
law enforcement. And oftentimes they will cover for each other, and which is good to some extent,
And
because
not in all departments.
you
but
know
a
that
lot.
you have people that are going to back you up, but there is times in certain police departments where they
Yeah.
do cover up things like this
Yeah.
that are people that break the rules or even
in
break
all
the
industries,
laws.
like
Mhm.
doctors, nurses
Right.
will like cover up
Right.
for doctors that they know are drinking, or like pilots, that kind of thing too.
But I think it's especially bad because
I
he's a
agree.
police officer.
I agree. The
And he
police has
arrests
such a
people.
brotherhood, and
Yeah.
you know, you're a force,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, and you shouldn't be drunk at work.
No, I
matter
know.
what. So yeah, in my opinion, I don't think that unpaid suspension is the right punishment here for this crime. I think that
Completely agree.
probably should lose his job, but let us know what
Yes.
you guys think.
Yeah, what's your opinion? Let us know.
The next story, though, comes out of Australia. All of our mates down under are experiencing a severe heat wave right now. It's actually really alarming when you start looking at it and you start seeing some of the footage coming out of Sydney and surrounding areas and other parts of Australia. It looks like Armageddon's happening down there. Literally everywhere
Yeah.
is on fire.
Looks
There's
really bad.
100 wildfires burning around Australia.
It's so sad.
And there's a mega fire that's encircling Sydney, covering the entire city in a toxic haze. Like, there's the photos and video out of it. Like, we were
Yeah.
in Sydney, a few years ago?
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Such a beautiful place, and the air
Maybe
was so
longer now.
clear and clean. And to see these pictures, I'm just like,
it was gorgeous when we
horrified.
were there. I know. I'm like so sad looking at this right now, of the Opera House.
it's really bad.
It's really bad. Oh my gosh.
Not only that, the temperature has just been getting hotter and hotter by the day, pretty much. It's actually started breaking records.
Yeah. And it's summer there, for those of you
Yes.
who don't know.
Yes. Australia recorded its hottest day ever for the second straight day this past Wednesday as a state of emergency was declared, because wildfires are just going out of control. I'm sure all of you down in Australia are feeling the effects of this.
Yeah.
And wildfires are a really scary thing. I don't think a lot of people even realize how wild and scary they are, because they move and go whichever way they want to, and they cover a lot of ground, and acres and acres and acres are literally burning to the ground. It's really scary. And not only that, a lot of Australians have been pissed off because their prime minister, Scott Morrison, has been away on holiday in Hawaii during this whole
Oh my
time.
gosh.
And so he's been facing a ton of criticism for not coming back when everybody's in a crisis and
yeah.
state of emergency is being declared.
That's so ridiculous.
That it's literally 120 degrees there on average. It's crazy.
That is so hot.
121.
I don't think I've ever been anywhere that's that hot. There's no way. No. It's so hot.
It's unbearably hot. Obviously, climate change is part of the reason for the temperature and the heat wave. But man, I don't know what we're going to do about that. That's crazy. Because it's not like, I feel like this is going to get worse over time, over the next 20 years.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really concerned when I see stuff like this. I mean, it just makes you, I think about like what's going to be like in 20 years. If it's this bad right now, and it seems like things just keep getting worse and escalating, and we're constantly breaking records, and you see this kind of stuff all the time everywhere around the world. It's really scary, but it definitely like keeps the climate issues in your mind. Like, it reminds you of the severity of the issue we're facing here.
And I think it's going to stay that way. I think climate change stuff is now almost everywhere. Like, I think most people are thinking about it to some extent.
It's become a big part of the political conversation.
It has. And the human situation. I mean, we all are dealing with the effects of it. And so we all have to think about it and try to figure out the best course of action and try to reverse it, because we're heading down a dangerous road that is not going to end well. So
I have to take it seriously.
definitely. So be safe down there in Australia and anywhere else there's wildfires, because that stuff's scary. And listen to authorities and evacuate, because they can turn on an instant and they just leave a path of destruction. So
I just hate thinking about all the animals when there's these
I
massive
know.
fires. It just is so
I know.
upsetting.
I know. Like, did you ever see that viral clip of the koala bear that was like walking through a field that was on fire, and somebody ran out of their car and like picked him up and rescued him,
Yeah, it was really
and he was
sad.
all burned up and stuff.
And then he didn't make it.
No,
right?
he ended
Yeah.
up dying like next
Yes.
day.
Oh yeah,
or
I
two.
did see all that. Ugh.
Oh, it was heartbreaking.
So sad. He had they gave him a name and everything.
It's horrible. Yeah.
I hate
These
that
poor
stuff.
animals,
It's
I
so
mean-
hard to see. That's the hardest part of these fires.
It is.
Like, well, it's like, of course, human loss, of course,
Yes.
too. But like seeing the animals.
Well, they
it's
just don't
so
know
sad.
like what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
Like humans can at least try and like work together
Yeah.
and figure something out. Obviously, it doesn't always work out.
Right.
Not saying like every human can get out.
But there's no evacuation plan for animals.
Right,
And they don't
exactly.
know until it's right
They
there.
don't know which
There's
way
no
to go.
resources for them.
Yeah.
They
They're
have
just
no
going
idea
off
what to do.
instinct. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, I'm trapped. It's too late.
Exactly. Or they burn just like their foot or their, and then they're just.
Or they breathe in ash
screwed.
and die. It's like
Exactly. I know. It's really sad.
So yeah.
Sorry. Sometimes our intro topics, I mean, that's like the news though, right?
Yeah.
Like we talk about the news. I mean, there isn't that much good news.
There really
unfortunately.
isn't. There really isn't.
We often try to include a good news that's like still interesting enough to talk about on this podcast that you guys are still going to be like,
yeah,
curious
because I mean,
about.
there's obviously good things that happen
Yeah.
every day, but it's like not as significant as
Yeah.
the bad is, unfortunately.
Or it's not as reported on. There's
Right.
not. It's not as like available. There's not as much information about things, or there's not enough resources about the good stuff. Like the news in general, media in general, focuses on the negative for the most part, because that's what humans are most interested in.
Yeah, humans gravitate towards drama.
Yeah, totally.
that fight or flight response kicking in.
Yeah,
But the last
but this one's interesting.
Yeah, the last
this is a good
little,
story.
tech bit is pretty cool and honestly good news.
Yeah.
So Google, we've all used Google Translate, I'm sure. I used it in high school in my Spanish class.
Oh yeah.
My teacher knew right away I
Yes.
was using
Yeah.
Google Translate. He was like,
It was
"Oh,
never right.
It's
Yeah.
not right."
And they ask you, they're like, "Did you use Google Translate for this?" Yeah. I was so bad at Spanish. Oh my gosh. As soon as
It's-
conjugating starting, I just
Writing it is
Conjugating.
super hard. Saying it is not
Couldn't do
like
it
talking
anymore.
is not as hard, but writing it killed me.
Yeah, it was really hard. I mean, I struggle with just English, to be honest. So, yeah, Spanish was really hard for me. So, something like this, it's so great to have tools like this. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the good side of technology, right?
Yeah, this is definitely a positive. So Google has a language translation tool that operates in real time called Interpreter, which is now accessible on both iOS and Android, which is really cool. And this feature is integrated in the Google Assistant app. And when you download this app, I tried it out earlier, and it works really well. So all you have to do is you open the Google Assistant app and you just say, "Hey Google, be my Spanish translator." And it says okay, and then it immediately starts listening. And so if you play, somebody talking in Spanish, it automatically, pretty quick in real time, starts translating it for you.
so
and
cool.
it seems to be really accurate, which is awesome because there really hasn't been. I've been looking for a device like this for a long time.
Yeah,
and there's been
for when we
some,
travel.
Yeah, like when we went to
always look.
Thailand, that was really rough
Yeah.
because there's no way in
Yeah.
hell we can understand.
Thai is a very difficult language
Yeah.
to read for sure. It's a lot of symbols and
It's all symbol. Yeah, it's very symbolic.
yeah.
It's-
So we needed a lot of help.
and we didn't
luckily
really
a
have
lot of
any.
people there spoke English. We did find people that spoke English,
Yeah.
but we were looking for translators. Yeah, we couldn't find anything that was good. Everything was like just
Yeah, there was a couple devices, but it didn't really have
like
good
paid
hit or
things,
miss.
overpriced things.
So at last, Google has created this feature that we all needed, and it's available in 44 different languages, which is really, really cool. All of the major ones from Arabic to Thai to French to Italian to German, which will be super helpful. So when you're traveling, especially if you're not going through areas that aren't as touristy, you're not going to run into English speakers most likely in some of these
Right.
countries. And you got to be able to communicate in some way. And it's really hard to just point and go
Right.
that route versus
Yep.
talking to Google, and Google will take your words and translate it into
Right.
their language for them to understand. And
With context, it
Is
makes
this
way more
interpreter?
sense. Yeah.
it's a virtual interpreter.
There's so many ways that you can use this. I was also thinking not just for travel, but if you want to listen to like a YouTube video, like their translate thing is so bad, especially from like languages to language. Like good luck using the YouTube, you know, their little automated system. So that you could like put this up to a YouTube video that's in another language and like read it.
That's what I did earlier.
It's really cool. Like, and this is ways that technology is bridging the gaps between humans, and things like this will allow us to work together more in the future and to just, I mean, language is such an important thing. And the fact that we all around the world speak so many different languages, I mean, it's like a challenge for us. Like it keeps us from each other. So having tools like this is so cool. Yeah. Especially for the future.
Yeah. Well, just like the internet connected all of us together.
Right.
And made our world so much smaller, this is now going to allow it to feel even, you know, like we're more a part of each other's lives.
Yes.
Because we're going to be able to communicate in native languages with each other with our phone. Like that's really cool.
And it's like, you can always learn another language, but it takes a long time. You can only learn so many languages unless you like spend your whole life learning all the languages in the world. Like something like this allows you to communicate with so many more people without having to completely learn a language, you know?
Yeah.
It's just cool. Like people 40 years ago would never think we would have something like this. You know?
No, I mean, you used to have to
really cool.
bring an interpreter with you if you were doing in something in, you know, like work capacity or something.
Yeah.
To a business deal, or you're going, you know, on a guided tour or something.
Like that's what people would do.
Yeah.
Is like,
would be like,
you're
here's
traveling,
our,
you do a guided tour, you find an American tour guide so that they can like help you.
Right.
But nowadays you can like take yourself around.
But now you can go get lost in some other country where nobody speaks your language.
As long as you have service though.
That's
if
true.
you haven't got no service or Wi-Fi, then good luck.
Yeah.
You better learn the basic words at least.
Get that SIM card that you need.
But it's pretty cool.
Also, Google has Google Lens, which uses, it's integrated into the Assistant as well on Android's phones, but allows you to use your phone's camera to take pictures of text or a sign, and it converts it into your native language, which is cool too.
That's very cool.
Super
and
helpful.
Very important. Like, especially if you're out somewhere, what if there's a sign that's like cautionary or pointing out danger and you can't understand it? Like, it's great to be able to pull up an app and it'll tell you what it says or what it means, even if it's a symbol or something. Like, you don't know the rules of everyone else's country, and it can make traveling stressful and a big challenge.
That's like one of the most stressful things is just getting, you know, once you get off your flight in another country, as soon as you start looking at all the signs and everything.
And especially like you said, if you want to travel to like the non-touristy areas, like more of the local hot spots where you're going to like really get a taste for the country, then you need tools like this. It's just so awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. I just thought it was cool to share, and definitely go check it out. It's free to download the Assistant app and try it out yourself.
And this is sponsored by Google. Just kidding.
No.
Imagine if they sponsored us.
That would be cool.
They would never. We talk shit about them.
I know.
Sometimes.
I was going to say, I don't trust Google completely. So use at your own risk. But
yeah, seriously.
Well, it does have this one feature that I always said no, because it's like, oh, in order to use our Assistant app, we need access to this, and that, including all of your internet activity history on your phone.
Oh, so there's a catch.
To your microphone, because Google needs to be able to listen to you all the time. And that's like the whole debate is this whole listening thing is like kind of freaky when you think about it.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Siri and Google and all these AI assistants are actively listening to your conversations and potentially recording them.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the thing with technology. It's like there's a lot of the services we use, the internet and stuff, are like free for the most part, kind of. But like there's always a catch, you know, when you're using these types of things.
It's really a double-edged sword when you think about it. Like, technology is going to bring us so much convenience in our lifetime, and we're going to be able to do all these great things, and things are going to get easier for us, and we're going to have so much more knowledge and assistance than what we had 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
But at what price?
Right.
Because on the flip side, you start hearing all of these things that get leaked from whistleblowers about Google selling your data and selling all of this auditory information that you've given it, or it's wild. So I don't know.
Yeah, you guys will have to let us know what you think. Would you personally download this? And how far do you let yourself use technology? Are there things that you don't turn on or don't activate or don't choose to use tools because you're concerned about like your privacy or safety?
What's your level of trust?
Yeah, let us know your trust levels with technology. Or do you just like use everything and you don't really care?
Yeah. Well, like Alexa's everywhere now. Have you noticed AI is already starting to infiltrate every aspect of our lives? And now there's Alexa Auto. Have you seen that?
No.
Alexa Auto is
Auto?
now in your car.
Whoa.
So now they're going to put Alexa's built
That's
into
kind of
everything
nice,
now.
though.
Well,
Like, can it help you text while you
yeah,
drive
yeah,
so
it
that you
can-
don't have texting
It
drivers?
can order shit for you. It can.
Order shit. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's a bit extreme. If you're driving, can you just not be ordering? Like, what? People are going to be like online shopping while they're
don't know.
driving?
It
It's
can
like,
amazing.
there's certain levels, you know?
control your music and your stereo
that's
and stuff.
good. Like, anything to help someone to not be distracted. That's good. Like, auditory stuff. I don't know. Curious. What do you guys think?
I don't know. It's
Let
good.
us know.
Before we get into our Q&A, we would like to thank our sponsors for today.
Yes.
When you're having one of those days when you need red wine at 4 p.m., sushi at 9 p.m., a breakfast burrito at 8 a.m., and ibuprofen at 10 a.m., Postmate it. Postmates is your personal food delivery, grocery delivery, whatever kind of delivery service all year round. Anything you're craving, Postmates can deliver. They're the largest on-demand network in the U.S. and offer delivery from all the restaurants, grocery, and convenience stores and traditional retailers you could possibly want or need. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, Postmates will bring you what you need within the hour. No more trips to the store. You don't even have to know where the store is. Postmates will deliver anything to you. All you got to do is download the app for iOS or Android for free. Browse local restaurants and businesses and track your delivery in real time. I can't tell you the number of times that I've used Postmates for all of these different things, including going to get a new charger from Best Buy to getting medicine at the convenience store. I truly use Postmates all the time. It comes in handy when I most need it, that's for sure. For a limited time, Postmates is giving our listeners $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days. To start your free deliveries, download the app and use code MILEHIGHER. That's code MILEHIGHER for $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days when you download the Postmates app. Anything you need, anytime you need it, Postmate that shit. Download Postmates and save with the code MILEHIGHER today.
So if you ever wanted to straighten your teeth or fix an imperfection that's bothering you, but don't want to go through the hassle and the price of traditional wire braces, well, that's where Candid may come in handy for you. Candid's aligners can help you straighten your teeth faster and cheaper than traditional wire braces. Treatment takes anywhere from 6 to 12 months on average and costs about 65% less than braces. And it's super convenient because it can all be done from your home. The way it works is they send you this kit where you make molds of your teeth so that they know what's going on in your mouth. You send that into them, and then an orthodontist puts together a Candid aligner. They go through a treatment with you online to make sure you understand how it works and that they fit your teeth. And then what I really love about it is they send you all your aligners for the whole treatment plan at once in one big box. And that's great because you're cutting down on shipping, which is good for the environment. You know, you're not getting a monthly package and you don't have to worry if you like move or something. Candid's aligners are comfortable, removable, and completely invisible. There's no hassle of going to your orthodontist, which is really nice. And what's great about Candid is they donate $25 with each aligner purchased to Smile Train, who brings safe, 100% free cleft lip and palate treatment to children around the globe. So get the smile that you've always wanted in a less expensive and more convenient way. Give yourself the gift of Candid this season. Just go to candidco.com/milehigher and use the code milehigher to get $75 off your treatment plan. That's candidco.com/milehigher with code milehigher for $75 off your treatment. That's candidco.com/milehigher with code milehigher for $75 off today.
So as you guys know, we have a literal zoo in our house, including a number of pets like cats, dogs, and rabbits. And recently we got a new pup. Actually, it's been a couple months now, but we rescued him and we weren't quite sure exactly what his breed was. We knew that he was part Great Pyrenees. That was about all that we knew, but we had no idea what the full extent of his breed was. So that's when I turned to my friends over at Embark to find out the answer to that question. Embark is truly revolutionary because it not only figures out what your dog's DNA is, but it can also tell you all sorts of other things about your dog you may not know, including screening for 170 plus genetic health conditions. And not only that, you can look at your dog's ancestry with Embark. They'll show you relatives of your dog that you may not even know about. And they give you the full breakdown of what your dog's breed is, no matter how many mixes it might be. So this is Oakley. He is the Pyrenees mix that we thought. And we did the Embark test with him. It was super easy. Just take a little cotton swab, whoop, 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 right through the mouth into the cheeks for about a minute. And then you send it off to them. And literally in a couple weeks, they send you a full report and breakdown of your dog's breed. And we found out that Oakley is 100% Great Pyrenees, which is really cool because we had no idea that he was 100% Pyrenees. And I was super excited about that. So yeah, if you're interested in finding out what your dog's DNA looks like, then definitely check out Embark. They're the number one highest rated by customers. They're developed by PhDs and veterinarians for your dog. So if you're interested in checking out Embark and getting a DNA test for your dog, right now our listeners can go to embarkvet.com and use promo code MileHigher to save 15% off your dog DNA test kit. Discover your dog more than fur deep and visit embarkvet.com and use promo code MileHigher to save today. Don't wait.
Okay, so the way that we do these audio Q&As is through our Instagram account through the voice memo feature in our DMs. So basically we have our followers slide into the DMs with their voice memos, and then we go through them and we answer them here on the podcast.
Yeah.
So if you are not following us, if you want to be included in the next time, make sure to follow our Instagram account at Mile Higher Podcast.
Yes, where we post a variety of things, including episode highlights, funny memes,
and updates.
And yeah, good old updates.
And tag us if you buy the merch, guys. Tag us because we're always reposting people who post their.
We have a little merch model highlight.
Yeah, that's actually.
Go check it out. Well, Instagram's lit. You should be on it. But
so
anyway.
What do we have? We got sent a lot of questions from you guys. So thank you if you submitted a question for this episode. There was a lot to go through. Okay.
Let's go ahead and play the first question.
Hi, my name's Isabella. I'm from Cleveland, and I've been watching you guys for a while. Watch all the episodes, and I love you guys. And I was just wondering how you guys think in the next few decades that crime will begin to evolve with the usage of cameras and, testing for DNA getting better every day and, just technology advancing in general in society. Like, what new crimes do you think will become really popular? And do you think it will be harder to commit crimes in the upcoming decades? Also with hopefully the legalization of marijuana everywhere, do you think people will start selling other things in more of a bulk or I don't know. I was just wondering how you think crime will change in the next few decades. So thank you so much.
Really great question.
Yeah.
A few questions within it. But the first one is, how do we think crime will change? And, going into this age of technology and surveillance everywhere, everything's recording you. There's CCTV cameras in most major cities capturing all sorts of things.
There's cameras everywhere.
Is it going to become harder to commit crimes, do you think?
I think so too, especially, with DNA and stuff too.
I think it's going to get harder to do petty crimes because of the level of surveillance and just, different types of methods of preventing that type of crime. But I think organized crime, especially having to do with electronics, cyber crime, is going to be the major crime category, I guess, in the future, I believe. And I don't think people really understand what that means because a lot of us don't have any interaction with cybercrime on a daily basis. But when you look at kind of the global scale and you start looking at all stores and you start sorry, my dentures are falling out. So when you start looking at all of the different types of cybercrime, from hackers who are trying to hack into other people's and company systems to people that are stealing money online and things like that. I think that's where the biggest issue lies, because I don't think law enforcement is equipped to handle that sort of crime yet. They haven't figured out how to actually combat that.
How about crime when it comes to people like programming robots to do things for them? What if you can program a robot to go rogue and kill someone or something like that.
It's coming. They just sold a drone this week that had a machine gun on it. That's scary.
Oh my gosh, that is
They mounted
very
a machine
scary.
gun to a drone.
Oh my gosh, that is a problem that I didn't
And it's
even
like
need
a
to know existed.
military. Yeah, it's like a.
What the fuck?
I saw. I was like, oh Jesus, that's all we need is guns mounted to drones flying around.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah.
What about terrorist groups like hacking electronic, self-driven cars or something and making them go haywire and killing a bunch of people in a city or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's really scary.
That is really freaky. I don't even want to think about that, honestly, but that is totally something we will deal with. I mean, that's the reality.
And that's where the crime is going to go. It's going to go to hacking and compromising equipment like this. What's really scary and what keeps me up at night is thinking about what happens if a hacking group hacks our entire power grid system and completely either shuts it down or just makes it blow up, or somebody hacks our nuclear stuff and starts fucking with that. I mean, there's so many things that can happen.
Big deal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people don't realize the extent of what people could do.
No, they really don't. It's one of those things that is still largely unknown to the public, and it's surprising because it's happening literally all the time. But
It doesn't get reported on the mainstream too much.
no, it really doesn't. I mean, every now and then we'll hear about Anonymous or something like that, but as far as like major cybercrime that's happening, they love to talk about all the drugs that they get and things like that. But little, more often than not, they're not talking about the level of cybercrime that's happening, and people, not only that, but people that are having their identity stolen and sold on the black market and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's
like-
where it's going to be is online.
I mean, but it's like we said, it's a double-edged sword, this technology. Obviously it comes with a lot of problems, but it also comes with a lot of good. The amount of technology that we have developed when it comes to crime and solving like murders and stuff like that has been huge. Like DNA has come so far and so many other things, and just fingerprint technology and how they solve crimes has been completely advanced in the last 30 years to a huge extent because of technology. So it's kind of like, it's just one of those things. Like everything in life, there's goods and bads and pros and cons, I guess is a better word to say. But yeah, it's just
gonna get
hard to say.
Well, it's going to get really
think is healthy. Where can you stop? Where do you draw the line?
Right. No, you're exactly right. I wonder too, like what happens when you can instruct AI to do things on your behalf that are criminal.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where the other thing that's really crazy is if you've seen that Boston Dynamics robot, that like humanoid robot that they have that can run and jump and do all kinds of crazy human movements.
I mean, until you see it, it's like so scary.
That's where the future is headed, and we're going to start seeing more and more of that. So it's going to be, how do we make sure that stays safe and people aren't, compromising that technology for worse.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to get different in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways it's going to get better on the crime solving front, I think.
Yeah, we're just going to have to see.
Hi, my name is Marcus, and I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. And my question is that I know you guys talk about Josh's background growing up in religion. So I was wondering if you guys are ever going to do a podcast episode regarding religion and the different religions out there and certain conspiracies revolving those religions.
Actually, I think we should do an episode just about religion in general. I mean, it's such a complex topic. How do you fit it into a podcast? There's so many different ideas out there, and it's something where you have to be careful about what you say because you don't want to offend people, but you also want to question and kind of take a look at something a little more critically, because religion is something that, I mean, spirituality, I guess is a better term, is something that we all internally have our own ideas on, and we can be very stuck in our own way, or it can be hard to listen to a different perspective.
Yeah.
But I think we've been able to talk about it in a way that doesn't offend people, and, it's more welcoming, because you and I are both very welcoming of all beliefs and everyone else's beliefs. That's what we think is really important, is the freedom to believe in whatever you want, and that every human should have the ability to go through their own life and make their own decisions when it comes to religion. And I think Josh has a lot to say when it comes to that because he's had a religious experience. That's why we've kind of talked about it.
Yeah. Because I mean, I went through a lot with religion, and it was been a huge part of my life. And I think it was just important for me just to share what I experienced, what I went through. And I mean, I haven't even said, I probably haven't even talked about half of what I went through and just different things, both good and bad with it. And
it's impacted you a lot.
Yeah. It definitely impacted me a lot. Definitely helped shape who I am and things like that. But I think when it comes down to religion, it's just a very subjective thing, and everybody has their own experience, and everybody has their own. Yeah. I mean, everybody goes through their own experience with it.
I think that's part of the human experience is to have those thoughts and to question life and death. Because that's what religion all comes back to, is like the idea of life and what's the purpose of life, after life, what's going to happen when you die. Like those are the questions we all have, whether you're a religious person or not. You wonder those things. So it's kind of like, I think it's every person's right and kind of their mission to go through their own journey building when it comes to that and come to their own conclusion kind of by the end of their life.
Totally. And that's where I stand with it. Is I have no issues with any religion whatsoever. I think you should be free to believe whatever you want. And I think every human has the right to their consciousness and what experience you want to have with that.
Agreed.
In all aspects of life. And if you find comfort and security or answers with religion and it seems like it helps you, that's great. That's what it's there for, is to help life. You and help you through your journey of life and answering those difficult questions. And
if you're someone that doesn't want to be part of a religion at all and you don't even want to be spiritual, that's fine too. I mean, I'm really open to everything and every spiritual outlook, as long as you're not the type of person to push it on others or to shame other people. And if I saw a quote today or like a tweet that said, if your religion makes you an asshole, you're doing it wrong. And I really liked that. Like, that's basically how I feel. Like, I respect your religion and your beliefs as long as you're not trying to be an asshole and push it on me or like shame me for what I believe or tell me I'm wrong. Like, I think there's that term coexist is hugely important. And if we could learn that as a general society around the world, we'd be in such a better place.
Oh yeah. And I think there's reasons for why we can't get to that place just based upon history.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. And it's hard to talk about too. That's why maybe we haven't done a full podcast on it, because it is like, you have to like be careful. You don't want to upset anybody because it is a sensitive topic.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard because everybody has their own experience. So if I come out and say I had this really negative experience with Christianity, for example, then people that are Christian may or may not respond to that very well. And from my experience in the past, whenever I have talked to other Christians or religious people about that, sometimes they get a little upset or offended and think that I'm talking down on them or I'm shaming their religion somehow, but that's not the case at all. It's just, it didn't work for me. Right. And it wasn't the journey that I needed to be on. I needed to, sometimes when you're on one path your whole life, that path doesn't lead anywhere. And what I realized is that I need to get off that path and I need to discover my own path.
Your own path.
And really dig in deep. And I like to think I'm a deep person and I think about these things all the time. And I thought about Christianity for so many years that I finally got to the point where I'm like, okay, I understand this religion wholly. I understand it, what it's about. I understand the message. I understand what it means to be a Christian. And after all of this, I decided that this is not the road that I want to go down. I want to see what else is out there and I want to truly discover it for myself, because I think there's this huge thing too with religion and your parents and things like that. So many people grow up in religious homes and they just are exposed to religion by default because that's what their parents believe, and it's just something you're raised with. So here we go into a whole episode about religion. I could go on and on about it.
Talk about it the rest of the time. So the answer is yes, Marcus. We probably will be making a podcast on this in the future.
Why not?
If you guys are interested, I mean, let us know what you think. I know it makes some people uncomfortable, and it's understandable. It's kind of a hard topic, but I think we could definitely look at religions around the world and just, kind of talk about core beliefs. And I find religion to be a very interesting subject. That's one thing I always wish I took in college. The elementary education major didn't leave a lot of room for like picking classes you wanted, but I always wanted to take religious studies. I'm sure it'd be so interesting.
Well, especially with all of the similarities between them when you start looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting too.
Yep. I know,
So,
they
yeah.
really do have a ton of similarities. That's very, I think you guys would find that interesting if we could go through all that, how a lot of them line up.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder, you know, do they all come from the same
Are
original
they all
source?
connected in some sort? Yeah.
But anyway.
Next question.
Hi, Kendall and Josh. My name is Neve from Ireland, and I was wondering, would you ever consider looking into Irish folklore and mythology? I really love like the banshee and fairy folk, which like the supernatural kind of race here is called the Ishi.
I think her question kind of cut off there. Sorry, Neve. By the way, I love the name Neve. I've always loved that name. I've always thought about naming my daughter Neve. Seriously, I love that name. But anyway.
Well, would we ever talk about Irish myths and legends? Sure, why not?
Yeah, but I feel like we need an Irish person here. I mean, I am. That is my largest.
I was going to say, you are Irish. You are the Irish person
No,
here.
no,
But you're
no,
not
no.
in touch with your heritage.
My
right?
Irish heritage, no way.
I think I have a little bit of Irish, maybe. I think I'm more Scottish, actually. But I'm really interested in the Celtic culture. I grew up listening to a lot of Celtic music, and I've been obsessed with Irish music and bagpipes and mandolins and all of that. So I do love the whole Celtic
Irish vibe.
culture. Yeah, I do. I really do.
We've got to get an Irish person to come and talk to us. Maybe you can come talk to us about all that stuff because it sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we could do a podcast more on like folklore and fairies and giants. You did a video on giants once.
Yeah, it's
Talking
actually
about that.
pretty interesting
There's
stuff.
some interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let us know if you guys want to see that as well. Next question.
Hi, this is Kimmy from Jacksonville, Florida, and my question is, if you guys weren't doing YouTube or a podcast, what would you guys be doing for a living? Thanks.
It's an interesting question because, I mean, what would we want to do? Like, what's your dream job or
Yeah.
what would you probably be doing?
Say both.
There's like difference.
Yeah.
I would probably be a teacher because I, went to school for that. And I
Yeah.
was about to start student teaching when I decided to change to communications and finish my degree there to pursue YouTube and internet stuff. But I think, yeah, without this, that's what I would definitely be doing.
And what would
because
you
I
do
spend a lot
if,
of money on that.
yeah, true that. But what would you do if you could do anything
I could do anything.
other than YouTube? Any career in the world?
I mean, I would.
What would you really like? I feel like you'd be like a marine biologist or something.
Yeah, you know what? If I was like really smart and this school wasn't that hard, like school's really,
If I was
listen,
really
school's hard
smart.
for me. Like it's a challenge. The idea of doing something like sciencey sounds very difficult, but I think I would have loved being a marine biologist or not even a biologist, like just someone who works with animals. Like I just want to be like someone who works one-on-one with animals in some way. That would be my dream job. Like
Or a snorkel
every day, something like that. Yeah, I would love that.
Just take people snorkeling?
Yeah. But I also like the idea of being an event planner. I like the idea of if I had any artistic talent, I really don't. Like I'm really bad at actually creating anything, but I love the idea of like making pottery for a living or like
Nice.
I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know what I'd be doing, honestly. Like there's so many it's interesting to picture yourself in other worlds, like other versions of yourself. What would
Yeah.
you be doing if you were this or that, or if you had made this decision or that decision? Like Janelle, you almost became, you almost went into cooking. Like what if
Oh,
you
yeah.
had decided to do that?
I wanted to be a chef
Yeah.
on Food Network. I
What if
almost
you
went
did?
to Johnson and Wales. Like I applied and
Yeah,
everything.
I remember. I thought you were going to do that. And then you changed to psychology.
Yeah.
So it's like you can have so many different paths. It's like interesting to think about. What if I had taken a different one?
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I mean, the realistic choice, I'd probably still be in technology doing something with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you would.
Because
Oh,
that's
for
what
sure.
I was doing like 2 years ago.
Yeah, you had a very developed career in IT.
Yeah, it'd probably be some
already.
like IT manager or something somewhere.
Something like that.
But if it were up to me and I could do anything, I would do a lot.
The choices would be endless,
would
as
do a
most
lot.
of you know.
Pizza delivery driver for at least a week.
Driver? I thought it was going to be the guy who makes it.
I want
You
to
wanna
make it
deliver
and deliver it.
You were so
Do
Talk
that.
to my dad. He did that in college.
Really?
That just seems so fun to me. I don't
He
know
made
why.
it or delivered?
He delivered, and one time he was delivering to the dorms, and he said he's tripped on ice, and the pizza flew out of the box, fell in the snow, and he picked it back up and delivered it anyways.
Yes.
Like, this is a little cold on the
He
bottom.
said he wiped off the snow that fell on it, and he like gave it to them, and they yelled at him down the hall.
Oh, ooh.
So there you go, pizza delivery driver.
That's awesome. But also, I think the other thing I'd want to do is like be a park ranger.
That's a good one.
I feel like I would really enjoy being a park ranger because I love animals so much and I'd love to protect animals.
Yeah.
And it would also allow me to be like in law enforcement without having to deal with shitty people all the time.
Yeah.
And I could just deal with animals more so.
Yeah, and nature.
And just being out.
Yeah.
I'd want to do something where I'd be outside in nature
Yeah.
and doing something
I
in
could see myself doing that
a
too.
scenic area.
But it'd be hard here in Colorado because like the winters have got to be like so cold and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, it's nothing.
I'd
for
almost
me.
rather do that in like Hawaii.
Yeah.
Be a tour guide in Hawaii. That'd be nice.
Or I used to badly want to be a Alaskan state trooper, like as a kid and stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah,
really
you
wanted
did
to be
wanna
an
do
Alaska.
that.
I was like, I'm going to move to Alaska and be an Alaska state trooper because I just thought that was so cool. Or a private investigator or a paranormal investigator.
Honestly, you could have been a
whatever.
police. You were very close to being a police officer.
Oh my God. Can you guys imagine me as a cop? That'd be crazy.
I think you would have been great at it, honestly.
Yeah. I would have been a good one.
He did it in a program where he like was training to do it.
Yeah, I did it. I did
he was
a
younger.
shortened version of the police academy. I took most of the tests. I did very well in that. I had a
you
bright
were
future.
into it. Yeah.
But then I took a drastic change, but for the better, because here we are.
Yep. Everything happens for a reason, right?
Hi, I'm Teo and I'm from Greece, and I'm wondering, what are your favorite horror movies?
You say Greece?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's fucking sweet. What are our favorite horror movies? Well, this will be really easy because I don't. Do you even have a favorite?
No.
Like, what's your okay?
I
So
hate
if
them all.
you don't like horror movies, but what is
Not horror.
What's your favorite like kind of freaky thriller movie that?
I don't even know. I can't even think. I hate them all. Actually, I like Get Out. I really liked Get Out.
There you go. That's
a thriller.
Yeah, definitely.
And it gets kind of scary at the end. I kind of have to low key dip at like this one scene though. I have to go out and like do something else, but I come back.
It's a good one.
There's like this brain operating scene. It just freaks me out. But yeah, I'm not a big horror person, as you guys know. I don't like it. It gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
So this is for you. What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh man.
What about you, Janelle? You were kind of into horror movies when you were younger. You
Yeah.
liked Saw and shit.
Yeah, and then
Ugh,
one
the
day
commercials
I
scared
changed my mind, and now I don't like them at all. And I haven't watched a horror movie since. Get Out was hard for me to watch. It was a good movie, but no, I don't deal horror very well.
It's hard to watch something like that. Suspense even is hard to watch because I get anxiety the whole time.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when things are going wrong in a
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
and that's how horror movies and thrillers and stuff, like everything's going wrong. That stresses me out.
Meanwhile, we read about it literally all day. and
Yeah.
research it all day, but
I don't know why the real stories don't stress me out as much
Same.
as the fake stuff.
I
the
think it's like
acted
the
out things.
cinematography and the music and like
Yeah.
the light. It just like sets the mood, and I get
Yeah.
like it's too real for me. I get freaked out.
Yeah. Well, and their job as a horror movie creator is to like try to scare
Oh,
you and
yeah.
try to like, and I don't like that. So, but what are your favorites? What do you think if
I've
you had to
watched a
like
lot.
pick your top 3 horror movies, Josh? 'Cause
Oh
you've seen
man,
a lot.
I really love The Conjuring, which we talked about.
Yeah.
I thought that's one of the freaky. My horror tastes have changed. I started out when I was younger, when I was definitely not allowed to watch this stuff, but I watched
Yeah.
it because my good friend, who I'd hang out with all the time in my neighborhood, he was a horror like freak. Like he
loved
watched
it.
everything.
Yeah.
And so I'd watch a lot with him, and I would say probably House of a Thousand Corpses is pretty wild too. That's a Rob Zombie movie. That's really scary and just crazy. You probably don't even know what that is. You've never seen that. But all the classics too are good, like Freddy versus, or Nightmare on Elm Street, things like that. Those are pretty good. But what was The Strangers? That one I like the ones that are based on true events. Like any horror movie that is based on true events or a true story, those are the ones that really get me, because then my mind automatically thinks this could be real.
Yeah.
And then I just get freaked out.
That freaks me out. Yeah. Yeah, that freaks me out. I did kind of like the Purge movies, I will say.
Yeah, those are kind of considered
The first one,
suspense
though.
horror.
The second one was, and then I didn't even see the other ones, but I like the first one. Yeah. I don't really have any good answer to that question.
I like the hauntings now. I really enjoy the supernatural horror.
the
I'm not
paranormal
really
stuff.
into the slash 'em and gory
I
ones. Like
can't
those ones
handle
just
gore.
drain me now.
Yeah.
All my energy and make me feel really depressed afterwards. I watched all the Saws and now I think about it, I'm like, what did I get out of that other than just like, this was just
Terrifying.
so fucking horrible.
The
Disturbing.
Paranormal Activity, is that what they're called? That series?
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
really scared
Oh,
the shit
yeah.
out of me.
I never saw
Paranormal.
those.
Yeah.
I watched those.
Those are good
and-
too, yeah.
Oh,
Freaked you out.
ooh, freaky, freaky.
Yeah, those came out like when you were in high school, huh?
Yeah. I saw both of them in theater and I was like, I don't know, I kind of enjoyed them, but now I'm like so freaked out by it.
Yeah, they look scary. And those are based on true events too, right?
Yeah. And the way that they're filmed is like
Like vlog style.
exactly. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, it makes it probably feel more real. Yeah. I can't handle anything where anything pops out at you either. I do not do that. But anyway, next question.
Hey, Mile Higher Podcast. My name is Sumner. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And my question is, after we watch one of your videos and we see these crazy stories, I'm always like wanting to learn more, but I never really know where to look or what sources are good to check in on. So where do you recommend looking for more information, or where do you find yourself finding most of your information, just so we can like explore the topics more after the video's over? Thanks.
Honestly, I think a great place to sometimes start with something you're interesting is Reddit. And I know that sounds crazy and sometimes there's some BS on there, but like sometimes you can get some interesting things that is like filtered off the first page of Google, and you can like get the real tea there, and then you can take stuff on there and go research it further to like confirm if it's true or not, and use other sources, and using DuckDuckGo as a Google search, or I guess not as a Google search, as a search engine.
Yeah.
DuckDuckGo. That helps. Or Ecosia is good too. It's good for the planet, but
Something other than Google, because Google does filter the
Yes.
results quite a bit.
or like Bing or any of those like mainstream search engines.
Because like especially if you're trying to research a conspiracy or something
Yeah.
that is controversial,
Right.
then Google can sometimes hide things from you, and sometimes you got to go to other search engines. But as far as topics that we talk, like anything news related, I have a few places that I go to get news stories that I really like. The mindunleashed.com is probably my favorite. I get a lot of stories from them. They report a lot of really interesting news stories that aren't covered by the mainstream media. Collective Evolution sometimes has some good stuff.
Collective Evolution's great. It's a really good one.
There's a lot of sites like that. There's the Waking Times. I mean, there's a lot of kind of alternative news sites that I look at, but I also go to places like futurism.com. I really love anything scientific or discoveries. Futurism's good. Science Alert's good.
Mysterious Universe.
Yeah, I was
Mysterious
gonna say
Universe
Mysterious
is another
Universe.
one. Coast to Coast .com is also another good one. So there's a lot of different places. Sometimes you just have to know where to look and do a little bit of extra digging other than a few Google searches. And if it's a mystery or anything like that, Reddit is a good place to search for just alternate theories and
Yeah, it's kind of
rabbit
a
holes you
gamble.
can kind of go down.
I mean, sometimes you'll find some bullshit on Reddit.
Right.
Someone just doesn't know what they're talking about at all. But sometimes you find someone that's like really taking it seriously and they treat it like a thesis. Their damn Reddit
Yeah, well,
post.
you
It's
find
like,
people
oh
who
my
are
God.
like obsessed with the topic and write their entire, thoughts on it,
Yeah.
and then they'll leave sources and then you go to those sources and they're really good sources. You can tell they've been really having to fish those out. It's not like the first page of Google like you're
and you
talking
can
about.
go verify if it's legit. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
always
think Reddit's pretty helpful. A lot of the
cross
time.
check things, and
Yeah, definitely.
if you
check
see
it, though.
something wild,
don't believe
and-
everything on Reddit.
Yeah, make sure you double check and you do a quick Google search even of certain
100%.
things, because there is some bullshit out there that
Definitely, especially in
fool
this
ya.
whole world, and that's why it is hard to navigate information in this world.
it really is.
But we'll leave some of those resources that we mentioned in the description box for this podcast. You guys can go check them out.
For sure.
All right, next question.
Hi, my name is Mathilde and I live in Toronto in Canada. I had a kind of a deep question for you guys here on your thoughts about fate and whether you think everything happens for a reason, and events in our life happen to put us on a path, or is there some randomness involved, or is it all totally random? Would love to hear your thoughts. Personally, I think it's a little bit of both. Thanks. Happy holidays.
Thank you. That was nice. Happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to all of you out there. But
It's a deep question.
yeah, it is. And it's something that I find myself revisiting in my mind all the time. How much of life is fate and destiny or pre-planned, and how much is by chance? It kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about different pathways you take, and, is it all for a reason? Like, how much is destiny? How much is fate? Like, did we meet by fate, or did we just meet? It's every day I wonder, like, how much free will do I have versus how much is predetermined? And I feel like everyone has kind of a different idea of that. And for me, it's like constantly changing what I think. Like, to what extent do things just happen to me? And what extent are they purposely happening?
Yeah. I think for the most part, we have free will. I think there's
Really?
Yeah, I think that most of it is us doing, going through life and going through our experience, and we alter our own paths. Because if you think about it, a lot of things happen because of our will to do them. It's not because we just wake up and we're like automatically programmed to know to do this, right?
Yeah.
So there's so many things that I feel like is not fate, but then there's just sometimes there's certain things that you're just like, God, this just seems so crazy
Right.
and so
Like major things.
made to be that how could this not be fate?
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, maybe it's not that it's fate. It's just a really strong connection, or it's something that is just came along your
Was
path that you
manifested
really,
or-
you may have manifested it and it's now there.
Yeah.
Or it could just be,
How much is, which I also believe in manifestation a lot. I really do. And it's like, how much is manifestation and how much is just happens to you because that's what is fate. Like, how much can you actually control? I don't know. It's a really interesting topic. I agree with her that it's a little bit of both.
yeah. And I mean, if you're,
That's what I tend to think.
I think it depends on your spiritual beliefs too. Because if you are religious, then you would say, absolutely, I believe in fate because we're all made by God and God has a predetermined path for my life and a plan for my life. A lot of religious people believe there's a predetermined plan for you.
Well, a lot of religious people do believe that, but I feel like some don't. And there's like so many new age religious people. Like, I'm curious, some of you out there who are religious, what you think about that. Like, how much do you think is God, planning things for you, and
Or
how much
some
is
sort of-
free will? Like, and I
Yeah.
think that's something that every religious person still like struggles with that question.
Well, yeah, because God says I give you free will, but then again, God has a plan for your life. So where's the line drawn there? Where is the separation between the two? Or are they equally a part of each other and they work in sync with each other? And there's something guiding you along the path that's leading you down this road. It's definitely a deep one.
Yeah, you guys will have to let us know how much you think life is fate versus, free will and chance.
Hi, my name is Marlena Galvan, and I am from South Texas. I love the podcast, and my question to you all is, what are your thoughts on psychics, and if certain individuals can sense the death of others? I have had several experiences with this and just wanted to know if maybe it's just a coincidence. Thank you.
I mean, I'm mixed on it. I think there's a lot of like fakers out there, and I've done a video on a psychic that completely scammed this old man. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of a crazy story, and there's so many examples of stuff like that. And even just yesterday, Janelle and I were at the grocery store looking at cheeses for our cheese board for our little litmus that we have. And this woman came up to me and like gave me a card that said like psychic, clairvoyant. She was like, hit me up if you need anything. And it just like, I got the sketchiest vibes from her. And I feel like there are a lot of people out there that wish they were psychic or wish they had these abilities that I do believe some people do naturally possess. Personally, I do believe some people have that like gift or that sixth sense or
Yeah,
whatever you want to
yeah.
call it. I think some people are more connected, especially depending on like their astrology, especially water signs. Like I do believe that people have psychic dreams. I believe that there are mediums. I do believe
Yeah,
in psychics,
yeah.
but I'm very skeptical about each individual.
Right.
And I feel like I get a sense of bullshit for a lot of people. And personally, I've never seen a good psychic. I've seen a couple. One I saw that was just terrible, like so off. I was just like, this is nothing to do with my life. They said I was going to like move to Europe and break up with you. And you and I were just like close to getting engaged. And I was like, what the fuck? So,
Well, unfortunately, I think it's one of those things that is really easy to exploit.
It is.
Because there's no way to determine if
Right.
somebody's psychic or not.
Yeah, it's not like you go get a degree and
Right.
you're like proven to be a psychic. You
There
have to
is a
just
psychic
believe them.
institute in which my grandfather has a
Right.
certificate
No, there
from.
is. You
Yeah.
can. I've done a psychic class with my
Yeah.
mom when I was really young. It was very strange. My mom took me to one psychic class, so you can definitely like try to learn how.
Yeah.
But there is no like way to prove if you really are like a certification. Like I'm proven psychic, you know.
And I get sketchy vibes from anybody that's giving you a business card in King Supers or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
about
no,
It
that
was so,
was-
she came up on us so hard. We were like,
Yeah.
whoa, what's going on?
soliciting that just randomly is so weird.
It was so weird. Janelle and I were like, what the hell? And I was wondering, I was like, what does she think? I have like something wrong with me? What is my aura like fucked up that she came up to me and was like, you need help? You need chakra
It's like
balancing?
glaring. It's just like blinking at her.
Yeah.
And she's like,
that's what I was wondering. I was like, maybe that's why she came up to us. But no, she was weird. We got weird vibes from her. Sketchy. But I mean, there's a lot of people out there like that. So you have to be careful. I feel like about 10% of the people claiming to be psychic or to have these abilities are legit or less. You know, I think it's pretty rare, especially to have the full on capability to communicate with the other side or to predict things. I think that is very rare.
oh, yeah.
You can have a degree of intuition. You can have, you know, you can be an intuitive person, maybe be able to do tarot cards or things like that.
It's another thing to literally
right.
communicate with spirits on the other
Right.
side.
Exactly.
And communicate.
Like full on clairvoyance.
Yes. Yeah. Being fully clairvoyant is rare, I think.
But I do think some people have that gift.
Absolutely. I really believe that. And that's what keeps me spiritual, honestly, is this part of the paranormal world where you're dealing with spirits and communicating with the other side and seeing what some mediums are able
Some
to do.
unbelievable stuff. is
It's
out there.
really,
Yeah.
really mind blowing.
Yeah. It definitely can't just be completely discounted.
No.
Hi, I'm Issa and I'm from Montreal, and I was just wondering if what you guys' opinion on like the whole Australia isn't real thing. I've heard like a couple people have like a conspiracy on it, and like I read a couple things, but I was just wondering on like what your opinion of it was. Thanks.
So this is really funny. I have heard this theory, and I've actually heard a couple different theories like this about different places not actually existing. I think Finland's the other one.
Is this a flat earth theory?
No. What?
Flat earth people don't believe Australia exists.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wait, then back that up then. Okay, say that again. I think this is part of like the flat earth thing.
Oh.
I mean, I don't really know that much about
yeah.
this theory, to be honest. I have seen people talk about it. It just always makes me laugh because
Well,
then
from
where the
what
hell
I've
did we
seen about
go?
it is some flat earthers believe that Australia doesn't exist, never has, and instead it's like this computer generated place that's there to like trick all of us or something. It makes absolutely no
So
sense.
there's no people actually living there, according
right.
to that?
It's just completely made up.
So then where did we fly?
You're going somewhere else, right? Theoretically, you're just
we didn't go to
they're
Australia.
flying to a different part of the world.
We went to a computer generated version of Australia.
Oh.
And the whole time we
Oh
were
my
there,
gosh.
we were in some type of hologram.
It's theories like this that just give the whole conspiracy like community a bad name, okay? Like this is just ridiculous.
There's no proof, no
It's just so
remotely
insane.
sense of logical
It's entertaining.
thinking behind this.
You know, I was thinking that you guys might enjoy an episode of us going over some of the most ridiculous and out there conspiracy theories and kind of what we think about
I don't know
them.
if you want that.
Why?
There's some wild ones.
Oh
that
no,
I know of.
I know. I
Yeah.
think it'd be fun. I want that. I think it'd be interesting. Like let's get weird with it, you know?
Let's do it.
Let me know if you guys would be interested in that.
Hi guys, my name is Andy and I'm from Warrington in England, and I was just wondering, what is your favourite conspiracy theory It doesn't necessarily have to be that you believe in it. It's just the one that you enjoy the most. And what is your least favorite? I love you guys' show, and looking forward to hear from you.
I think personally, one of my favorite theories has become the Rh negative blood theory because I have Rh negative blood. So I find it interesting personally.
You think
you know?
you're special? I get it.
Yeah, you know, I'm an alien. I like that shit.
Okay.
I actually do really think it's interesting, and I think there's some interesting valid points to that whole, if you missed the episode, you know, just the fact that so many of our presidents have this and they can all be traced back to the same shit. I mean, I think it's a pretty interesting theory. So it's probably one of my favorites. You know, but I don't necessarily fully believe in it. Least favorite.
Like Britney Spears or something?
I love the Britney Spears.
Yeah,
conspiracy.
I love all the like pop culture ones. I think they're kind of funny and
Really?
fun.
Okay.
Yeah. The Avril Lavigne one though annoys me because it's like proven to be fake and it keeps fucking resurfacing every once in a while, and it's like it was faked. And the guy who made it up was this Brazilian blog dude. And he constantly has to like re-say like, this was not real. He like literally admitted, I made all this up to trick the internet, but people still believe it and it still goes viral every once in a while. So that's probably the one I least enjoy hearing about or talking about. It's just annoying to me at this point.
All right. I think mine are probably the most compelling one to me is the one surrounding September 11th, just because I've seen there's just so much with that.
No, I agree. We said favorite. I guess the most compelling or I'm most interested in would definitely be either 9/11 or JFK. You know, those are definitely super interesting.
Yeah.
I just meant like favorite one to like kind of talk about that I'm not completely sure on.
Right. Okay. Kurt Cobain's another one that I'm just
I like that one too.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But
not completely sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But also just like the New World Order conspiracy and all of that is really interesting to me as well, because
the families,
the more I've dug into all that, the more I'm like, oh God,
there's more to it.
Maybe are being run by some shadow government in society or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a good chance.
But yeah, that would probably be mine. My favorite.
What's up, guys? My name is Kama from Santa Cruz, California. So my question, it's kind of hard to put into words, but bear with me for a second. Okay, so if time travel, it's probably very possible that it's happening already. Do you think it's possible that it's happening all the time and like it's just rewriting history? Like, do you think it would just switch like instantaneously in our head? We wouldn't even know, I guess, kind of like if they go back and switch something, then it'll turn to like something we've always known to be true. And I wonder, what do you guys think about that? Like, do you think that's possible, or I don't know, just overall thoughts? Thanks so much. Love your guys' podcast.
You know, that is something I think about all the time. It's such a trippy concept to think about, time traveling. If someone is really going back in time and changing something or altering something, does that immediately change on our current timeline? Does our timeline adjust? Or like, how does that, I mean, I guess we have no way to answer this question because we don't fucking know how time travel works, but
it's theoretically
I think about
possible.
That a lot.
It's theoretically the fact that it's theoretically possible and we're getting closer and closer to figuring out how it's done, that I think, do I think that we're all time traveling right now? Probably not. Do I think that it could be real? And yeah, I really do. And I think there probably are individuals that have already achieved time travel. I mean, if you just look at Nikola Tesla, he was working on a time travel machine years ago. Never got it, probably didn't finish it or got to try it out, but he was working on something like that. And I know other scientists have worked on this too. And we were talking about time and just the universe and how time is speeding up as we go on into the future. It makes you wonder.
Yeah, that's an interesting point too. We have to talk about that.
You always hear time is linear. And can you go back? Can you go backwards on a timeline?
On that line, yeah.
Can you go back and forth on it, or can you only go forward?
But you have to think about, even if time travel isn't, like, let's say there's no time travel in our current, like in 2020 or I guess 2019 right now, there's no time travel actually happening. That doesn't mean we're not being affected by time travel,
right,
because if time travel is happening in the future, there are people traveling back to probably time before us and could be altering our timeline and things that are happening to us now.
Right.
So it's like, if you believe that time travel could exist and you believe in the work of Nikola Tesla and that could all happen, then you probably believe that it must exist at some point in our future, that eventually they figure it out. And that could mean that our timeline is changing all the time right now. And how does that work when they adjust something? Is that why we see Mandela effects? And is that, you know,
is it happening and we don't even notice it?
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden we're like, wait a second.
Yeah. Or like maybe things just happen and like our brains just adjust and we don't even notice it, you know?
Or it could even just be, to me, it seems more realistic that the multiverse theory is real, and potentially things that we think is time travel is actually just alternate timelines all running parallel to each other.
Yeah.
And
it's possible too.
You know, things spilling over onto one timeline to the next and changing it.
Hi, my name is Ursula from Toronto, Canada, and my question is, if you had the chance to either visit outer space or the bottom of the ocean, which would you choose and why? By the way, love your podcast.
Love that question.
I think for me, that's an easy question because I love animals and it's not like you see a lot of animals rolling through space. So I would pick the ocean because I want to see all of the different creatures that are down there.
The deep sea creatures, the freaky ones.
Yes. So ocean for me.
I think you know my answer.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know you're going to pick space.
Outer space, baby. I want to see there's nothing more than I'd want in my life than to be able to see the earth in its beauty and glory from outer space.
From a different perspective,
being
from away from
off
it.
planet, either on the moon or on some sort of space vehicle.
It'd be really trippy and very cool. No, I agree. I mean, that'd be cool too. But I feel like I get bored of it fast versus like, there's a new animal swimming up every couple of seconds in the ocean.
Yeah, until your submarine runs out of oxygen.
Oh, jeez.
Until your tank runs out of oxygen.
Yeah. Or you accidentally get
That's
cut
true.
from your spaceship and you fly off into space.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with floating off until the end.
Oh, that's a good question though. Let us know what you guys would do in the comments.
Hi, my name is Ursula from Toronto, Canada, and my question is, if you could visit the future or the past, what date would you visit and why?
I think I would want to travel back to see what it was like in Egypt. I think that would be the most interesting time period to visit.
Sure.
Probably in earlier Egypt, I would be more interested in versus the later, towards the end.
But it would also be cool to zoom into like 1,000 years into the future.
Yeah, the future would be
go
interesting
to
too.
January 1st, 2999.
What if it just like
and
doesn't
see-
exist though?
That's sad.
You get there and it's just black. It's just blackness.
Yeah, I don't know. The future like stresses me out. I'm more interested in going to the past.
Yeah, I would really like to go back to, let's say, like 1815 and, get in the covered wagon and roll across
Sounds
the prairie. And
brutal. Why would you want to go back then?
I just want to see what it was like back then and how happy people were.
Not happy. It was very shitty back
I just
then.
want to gauge like how happy life was back then for some reason. I've always been interested. Or, walking in, it's just such a different time when before the government got established in the US, it
It's
was
true.
just this like lawless country out there. And you used to just be like riding along in your horse and
I think
your
it'd be scary.
your wagon with your family, and then all of a sudden you just be ambushed by anything.
Yeah.
And if you can't fend it off, that's it. You're done. It was just such a different world. But Egypt is cool too. I'd do Egypt too. That'd be cool.
Or Greece. I was thinking Greece was my other idea.
Or just take me back
Or
to
even Rome. It would be interesting to see
Yeah.
the whole time Julius Caesar when all that went down.
I want to go back to like the dinosaurs.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. I mean, it'd probably look way different.
I would say going back to the Sumerian civilization would be
That'd
really
be
cool.
really cool too. Yeah.
And
definitely
especially if
that.
I could understand like what they were saying and stuff and learn from them, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
See what they
Maybe
really
there'll be
knew.
a feature with AI where you can just like go and
A
see these
virtual-
things and like,
Well, I think virtual time travel is going to be here before we know it.
yeah, but it's going to be like whatever the developer thinks.
Yeah,
happened. It's not
yeah.
actual time travel.
Right,
but-
right.
Anyway. All right. Next
Good question.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm from Alaska. My question for you all is if you were able to have any guest appearance on your podcast, who would it be and why? Thank you.
One person I honestly would like to interview is Andrew Yang.
I knew you were going to say that.
I know. Yeah, I'm just interested in him. And he's been going on a lot of different shows and he's very in touch with this younger generation. I think he would be a great guest because he is a very interesting take on politics, a new perspective, a very fresh perspective. And I think he would be interesting. And he was recently on the H3 podcast. He's been on it twice. So I think he's a actual possible guest. It'd be goals, I don't know if we could ever pull it off, but I'd love to talk to someone like him. Or, I'd love to talk to any Egyptologist.
No, you don't want to talk to any Egyptologist because a lot of them are very...
Okay, not any Egyptologist. Anyone that's good.
Then
I want to talk to a woke Egyptologist.
Get Graham Hancock, man.
No, Graham Hancock would be the ultimate goal for both of us, probably.
A ton of research on Egypt.
Yeah. We've just said that so many times. I was trying to think of people that we don't always say we want on the show, but...
I have one, Russell Brand.
He would be great. I'd be interested to talk to him.
I really like Russell Brand.
He's a very controversial person, though. It'd be interesting to
sort of. He more so in his past. He's really turned his life around majorly.
I'd be curious though how our audience would respond.
I think they would like him. He's very wise these days.
Another person I would absolutely love to talk to just personally is Seth Rogen. I would absolutely love to have him on the podcast.
I love his ass.
Or Chelsea Handler. I would really like to interview Chelsea Handler.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, absolutely. All of these are really big goals. I was trying to think of someone that was more attainable, but yeah, if I could have anyone, there's a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio. There's a lot of people I'd love to talk to. Whoopi Goldberg, of course. Everyone knows I love Whoopi.
Yeah. There's so many people out there that I'd love to talk to.
Anyone else you can think of? Put it out there into the universe. You never know. Speaking into existence.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, we would love that. I'd
love to pick his brain on some stuff
too.
For sure.
I would too.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot.
Hey guys, this is Mackenzie from Louisiana. I just wanted to know, what are y'all's opinions on crop circles? Do you think they're from aliens or, somehow man-made? I love y'all's podcast so much. I love you guys.
Thanks for that question. Yeah, crop circles have been something that have fascinated both of us since we learned about them.
Yes.
And
There's some compelling stuff out there.
There really is.
Incredible. They're beautiful. Some of them are beautiful.
And oftentimes they show up just overnight.
Right.
So if you think about how much work some of these crop circles take, because the designs are so elaborate and so geometrical and measured out, that it just doesn't seem possible for humans to have gone out there without anybody seeing you and leaving no trace whatsoever.
And they form so fast during the night. There's so much to it. We need to do a podcast on them. I really want to do a crop circle podcast soon.
It's one of my favorite topics, honestly. It's so interesting.
Yeah, me too. I love talking about them, and I truly do believe in them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, considering there's actual historical video of a flying saucer creating one.
Yeah, there is.
You can assume from that most likely most of these crop circles are done by some sort of UFO or flying saucer, which then that leads you down the road of who's piloting these craft.
Right.
And then obviously that leads you to, well, it's got to be some type of extraterrestrial or something that is doing it. But it could also be something entirely, it could be some advanced technology, advanced form of art that the military does. Who really knows what it is exactly? But it does seem to me that it's an unexplained phenomena that we don't know the answer to yet.
No, there's a lot of questions and it's case by case, obviously with all this paranormal stuff, you have to be somewhat skeptical and they're not all real, but there's some just crazy stuff out there. Like I said, I just really want to do an episode on it soon. It's such a fascinating topic. Let us know if you guys want to see that pretty soon.
Hi, I'm Carly from British Columbia, Canada, and I'm wondering what you think about DMT and if you would ever try it.
Ooh. This is one of my favorite topics.
Yes.
Because I'm very, very fascinated by this substance known as dimethyltryptamine.
And just psychedelics in general. You're interested in.
Yes, definitely.
I am too.
And the first time I really even learned about DMT was from Joe Rogan, honestly, is where I first heard about it.
That's where I first heard about it too.
because Joe talks about it quite a bit in his experiences with DMT. And he's had a lot of experts on his show that have talked about it and have experienced it. And from everything that I've heard and gathered from other people's experiences, like one of my favorite YouTube channels on the subject of psychedelics is Psyched Substance. If you've ever seen his channel, he has a very, very good channel that gives you a ton of information if you're curious about psychedelics and DMT and things like that, or just want to know more about it. He's got a really
monetization with the
he
YouTube
doesn't.
rules.
He
I was
doesn't.
gonna say he probably has to have like a Patreon or something.
Yeah, because it's not YouTuber friendly, but
it's getting so bad these days.
And he's an educational channel. He's trying to educate people, which is important, especially with these things.
If someone's going to use it, you might as well have a good resource out there how to do it safely, and to teach you more about what you're going to consume if you're going to do it.
And if you don't know what DMT is,
I was going to say, explain it.
It's known by a lot of names. It's known by the spirit molecule. It's known by a lot of different names. Ayahuasca is another form of DMT that
it's more of like a concoction, a ceremony.
Yeah, and that tribes in the Amazon have been doing for potentially thousands of years. That contains DMT in this brew that you drink.
Right.
But this chemical can provide you an extremely profound experience beyond comprehension. Words cannot describe what this experience is like, other than it will change you.
Right. And we're not speaking from experience because neither of us have
I've never tried it yet.
But from what we've heard, we've seen a lot of people talk about their experiences and just heard what people have to say. And people talk about absolutely like leaving this dimension and like seeing other things. And it's just completely life-changing and it's really intense experience. And to answer whether or not we would do it, I think I definitely would in my life. I'm open to trying things. I think I'd like to do it in like a safe environment, like a ayahuasca ceremony. I'd like to go and like do it with people who've been doing this for years. It's part of their culture. That's what Chelsea Handler did.
And we're not talking about it. And the way that people view this is often wrong. This is
a lot of people have a very
I look at this as a spiritual tool and a spiritual experience.
Consciousness expanding.
Totally. You're entering another level of consciousness you've never seen before, never experienced before. And what's so cool about it, in my opinion, is the fact that an experience on DMT only lasts like 10 to 15 minutes. And then your body brings it back down to baseline and you're back.
Right.
And you're completely fine. Nobody's ever died from this. It's not dangerous, obviously in the right circumstances. But then again, it's not for everybody as well. You have to be in a good mental mindset before you do any type of psychedelic. And
that is the truest thing. It's very huge.
And some people just can't handle it, or just are not ready for that type of
not
really
everyone
intense
reacts
experience.
to even marijuana. Like people have different reactions and it's all like personal choice.
Yeah. And again, we're all on our own journey, and by no means do I ever want to promote something as being the right way to go about doing something or experience something. You gotta find it on your own, and you gotta come to that realization yourself if you want to do something as potentially life-changing as DMT or something.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
But it's very interesting. We'd love to dive into that more in the future. So that will conclude our Q&A episode. Some really good questions in there.
Yes. Thank you for really coming through with a bunch of questions. There were so many, and sorry to everyone that we didn't have time to include. We will be doing other episodes like this, eventually in the future. Definitely follow us at Mile Higher Podcast on Instagram if you want to be included in the next one, and just stay up to date on what we're doing with the show and updates and things like that.
Yeah. And I think just to kind of wrap it up and final thoughts on this is, for me, I find this really cool to be able to hear it from you guys as far as like how are the things that we're talking about impacting you, or what things are creating more questions for you, and hearing this is so good for us because doing this can be hard sometimes because I feel so detached from you all
because you're not here.
Yeah, because you're not here in front of me.
You can't see your reactions.
And we're just talking into microphones in front of a camera, and it can be very easy to just completely lose track of who's actually consuming our content and, getting into these topics and stories and things like that. And it's just really cool to see that, we're not alone in this, and that there's so many of you out there that are going down these rabbit holes with us and questioning all these things
wondering
and
the same things as
thinking
us.
deeply, and we're all on the same page together.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it is. And again, we really appreciate you guys. This year has been huge for the Mile Higher podcast. And
Huge, yeah.
Yeah, and we're just about to get into our studio, which we could not have done without all of your support.
Yes.
And it's just so evident the way that, when we do things like this, when we ask for questions, so many of you come through, and it's just, we really, really appreciate, we feel like there's kind of like a Mile Higher family here, and it's spirit, a general lifestyle that a lot of you guys kind of vibe with and understand. And if you guys feel like family to us, really, and especially hearing your voices on these questions, we're like, God, like we'd be friends with all of you.
Yeah, totally. And the fact that we're hearing you guys from all around the world is also just so...
We got so many questions from
so
all around the
cool.
world.
So cool to hear, Greece and all these other faraway countries, literally around the entire planet, just blows our minds, honestly.
It does. It does. We honestly can't believe how many people listen to us or like care about what we have to say. These were just conversations that we've always had by ourselves for years. We've always been into having these deep, complex talks ever since we met. And we never knew anyone would be interested in hearing it.
Not at
it's
all.
just like, it's mind blowing to us, the amount of people who are listening and watching on YouTube. I mean, we're just really thankful. And,
And it's great to see that. I truly feel that we're a part of something really special. And like we've talked about in the past with the age of Aquarius and this consciousness shift that's happening, and people are waking up and becoming more conscious about the world we live in, and what is this reality, and asking these really deep, tough questions, and questioning all of our belief systems and power structures and everything, and thinking critically about some of the most important topics on the planet is just, and the fact that we all get to take part in that and throw different ideas and theories around and just have this really casual conversation about such deep, thoughtful things is just so cool.
Things that people have so many different opinions on, like sometimes controversial topics that a lot of people stray away from. But I feel like we've been able to do this in a way, and you guys respond in a way that, like even if you don't agree with us, people come back with an interesting perspective for us that makes us change or like think. And it's a cool community that we're all able to be critically thinking and sharing freely what we think without judgment. And that's like what we wanted with this podcast.
Yes, no judgment, and all are welcome.
Yes.
No matter what background. I mean, some of the coolest comments and messages that I've gotten have been like somebody who is religious or some religion that I would never even thought about, and they're like, oh, this really resonated with me, or you're experiencing this, and just seeing that and knowing how far the message is going is just so cool.
Yeah, seeing what you guys think every week, reading the comments, and just reading your thoughts on things, and how many things we've learned from you, how many topics I have found from you guys, how just things I learn in my everyday life. Like you guys have helped with just expanding my knowledge. I feel like I've, equally learned from you guys as much as you probably have learned from us.
Yeah, totally.
It's just, this podcast has been the coolest experience. Both of us feel like, it's just so meaningful, and we love doing this. We plan on doing it a lot longer. We can't wait to get into our studio next year and to have guests and to expand this even more and get more opinions on, and there's a lot of good things coming in the future. So thank you for helping us get to where we're at now.
Yes, thank you for this year, and for your support into the future, because we got so much more to go.
Yes, we do.
So thanks again for joining us for this episode of the podcast. Again, really appreciate all of you. We hope you all have a great holidays if you celebrate holidays, and
a good new year. Happy New Year.
Yes, New Year's coming up. The decade's ending, and
we'll be back before New Year's. Actually,
we got one more. We're not taking any breaks.
No, we're not. No breaks for this podcast.
You got some Christmas entertainment, some New Year's entertainment coming. But
all right, guys. Well, thanks for supporting us as always, and
stay safe
and stay woke.
We'll see you guys next time.